Do you like true crime stories? Does investigating unsolved mysteries interest you? Do conspiracy theories intrigue you? Then this is the channel for you. Hi, I'm your true crime psychic medium, Dee Sparta. Life isn't all love, light, and sunshine. Here we dive into the shadows and reveal what is hidden in the darkness. This is True Crime Tarot. Please remember to subscribe to this channel and like the video. Please remember, this channel provides information that is alleged, and resources are linked below. I provide a summary of events and or people being discussed. Not all details are mentioned. I try to be very thorough and verify my resources that they are solid and up to date. However, there may be discrepancies as new information may have come to light after my resources were published. This is all done for educational and entertainment purposes only. Hey, it's me, Dee Sparta. And how are you doing today, my friends? Wow, I am so tired. I've been up. I kept waking up like I thought it was like 5 or 6, and it was like 3:34 in the morning. My wife's like, "Go back to sleep." Whatever. I've been up, and I'm like, okay, I've been working because what happened is, folks, you saw over on the community tab, I did the poll, and I have a couple of those, a lot of already researched, and I have the notes all set up so I could do the videos. Then something today just caught my eye, and I was like, we need to research and do a reading on Gabby Petito. She is an Instagram influencer and a van life vlogger. She has one video on her YouTube channel, and she has gone missing. And if you haven't heard this story, it's just the family's just reported her missing just about a week ago. So there's a lot of information that isn't out yet, and she's gone. So let me give you a little background here. We're trying to figure out when and where Gabby Petito was last seen. You see, Petito's family said the last time they heard from her was the last week of August. They said she was visiting the Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Now, this couple is actually from Florida. Well, they were in New York, and they transplanted and moved down to Florida. Now, they were on a cross-country trip from Long Island, New York, all the way to Oregon, and then they were going back down to Florida. And it was during this trip that Petito stopped communicating with her family, somewhere in Wyoming in late August. Her last Instagram post was on August 25th. When September rolled around, Gabby's family grew increasingly concerned about Gabby's well-being. While, yeah, it's common for her to go off the grid, have no cell phone contact where she's traveling, the family waited until September 11th to report her missing. Gabby was traveling with her boyfriend/fiance, Brian Laundrie. Now, early in the month of August, they were traveling through Utah, and there was an incident at a grocery store there. Police were called and reported that Brian had been seen assaulting Gabby. Today is the September 16th, and Gabby is still missing. Brian is a person of interest, but has not been charged or arrested. Now, if you want to go into more detail about this case, please, you know the drill here now. Stick around. But if you just want to jump on ahead of the tarot reading, you know I've got your back. I got those chapter links down below, and you can skip on ahead. And I hope to see you soon. Hi, my friends. How are you? And thank you for sticking around with me. Now, I understand if you want to exit out of this video because of the subject matter that we will be going into. Brian is her boyfriend, fiance, is a person of interest. As I mentioned, he has not been arrested, but there's some situations that I'm going to cover, and I'm going to do it with as much sensitivity as I possibly can, because if you have been in a relationship where you have been abused mentally, emotionally, physically, there are a lot of gaslighting happening where you feel that it's all your fault when the other your partner is mad and does things that hurts you physically and just emotionally. That is the type of situation that I'm going to cover here with Gabby and Brian, and I don't want this to trigger you. I've been in this situation myself, and I got out barely with my life. And that's why I want to talk about these things. This needs to be awareness that, those who are abused, it's not just women, folks, it's also men. They need to be protected better, because sometimes we are too scared to get out of the situation, even if it's being held to us like we can. There is so much fear that you can't see hope. All right, that's the best way I can describe it. All right, here, and I just want to point out that when I'm talking about abuse, that it's not just women and not just men, but men are also included. I also want to make sure that people understand that I'm also including non-binary, gender fluid, transgender people, victims also. I'm all inclusive here. If you don't know, my wife is transgender. We have been together since about June 13th of 2007 is when we started dating. We got married a couple of years later, and we have been together. She transitioned all about 2015. My daughter is non-binary. I identify non-binary. So I really want to make it clear that I am not excluding anybody. And I'm sorry for the poor wordings that I've used. I'm tired, folks. Have I told you that already? Yeah, I think I did earlier in the video. I like getting up early with my wife, though. I do, before she goes to work. Gotta get that little snuggle and a little coffee time in. It makes the day better. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm rambling now. Let's get back to the video. Oh, yeah, some of you all will be like, oh, you didn't say this, or you didn't do that, or you mispronounced this. And I'm sorry. I am human. I try. Okay? Anyway, the Instagram has pictures and the reels and lots of stories about their journey living in this van, which is the Ford Transit Connect, okay? Now, when they originally traveled cross country last year on their first trip, it was in a little tiny Nissan Sentra. And while, yeah, they enjoyed the trip, they realized that trying to live out of a Nissan Sentra was just not feasible. Financially, there was just lack of room for their belongings, and they had to rent rooms at Airbnbs and motels to stay at. So they both wanted to travel and be nomadic, so yeah, they upgraded to an outfitted 2012 Ford Transit Connect van and began traveling again. Now, this trip started. Now, some of my resources say June and others say July. So I am not sure exactly which is correct, but I'm giving you both of what I've seen. Now, and it was this year, 2021, and they planned to be back in their home in Florida around Halloween. Excuse me, I really need some of my coffee. Yeah, this is Captain Picard. Yeah, there's a chip. This mug I got back when I was in college, back in the 1990s. So it's a little wear and tear, but it's still very special to me. Okay, so now they were supposed to be back around Halloween, but it seems only Brian has made it back, and Gabby, it doesn't seem, has ever made it back to Florida. We just don't know, which is so. I just All right. Now here is a part I'm going to be getting into, and that could be very triggering. On August 12th, while in Utah, Brian was seen shoving, yelling, and assaulting Gabby at a grocery store parking lot. People who witnessed this called the police, and they arrived on the scene, but the couple had already left and they were heading to Arches National Park. Now, the police tried to catch up with them, and Brian was driving this van very erratically. The speed limit was like 15 miles an hour. He was doing 45. And he was swerving in and out of traffic very dangerously. But they were able to catch up with them at the van entrance because the van, while he was driving so erratically, hit a curb. And so that's what stopped him, and the police were able to catch up right at the entrance of Arches National Park. Now, I did watch the police cam footage of the officers approaching the van and speaking with the couple. It broke me. It brought back so much of the trauma I experienced in my previous marriage. Just watching her trying to take, she's crying. They're like, why are you crying? But she's trying to take the blame for how Brian was driving, that she must have shoved her. She was just being, she was crying, and her OCD and her mental health is causing problems, and it's not his fault. She's been mean. She doesn't want to be mean. And her taking the blame for him being mad at her and trying to cover up his mistakes and say, oh, if I hadn't done this, then he would have done, just brought back so many memories of, I used to do the same thing with my ex. Now, not anymore. I've gone through a lot of healing, and I'm in a really good relationship now. But yeah, I would do the same, and it was definitely out of fear. So, because I was afraid of what my ex would say and do to me, and if he looked bad in front of others, he blamed me, and well, I thought if I could just be better or be perfect, like what he wants, then he would treat me better and everything would be great. Spoiler alert here, it doesn't work out that way, folks. Now, I've learned that I'm not responsible for how he or anyone else I'm in a relationship reacts, says, or does, nor am I responsible for their happiness. Fortunately, I figured this out, but just barely made it out alive. So yeah, right now, folks, I am worried about Gabby. The police tried to help Gabby, and Gabby kept insisting everything was fine, nothing bad. There was nothing bad, and Brian accused her of striking him, and that's why he did what he did. That is so typical for the abuser to try and flip it to make them the victim, and somehow they were defending themselves. That is so typical. And as I'm watching them, I could tell they understood what was happening, and just trying, putting her separate away from him so that they could get real information and try to let her know we're going to keep you safe. But no. And he also apparently locked her out of the van and wouldn't let her in. And he turned around and said, well, I need time to cool down. And she just wasn't giving it to me. I could say so much. What a lie and piece of shit. He was punishing her for crying and being upset and for the police being called. I'll tell you that right now. That's exactly what was going on. She was scared. Now, she refused to press charges, which I understand. I've been in her situation. So please do not judge. I do not want to see any comment saying she should have done this, she should have done that. We do not do that here. Don't victim blame. The victims are already blaming themselves enough. And they need to realize it's not their fault. Now, she probably was still scared. And mindset is, I just want to get this the incident behind her and figure out how to keep Brian happy. What do I have to do to make up for all this? Now, the couple did agree with the police on one situation because the police said they need to be separated tonight and sleep in separate places for that night. And both Brian and Gabby agreed to separate for the night, and the police helped Laundrie get a hotel room while Gabby took possession of the van. Now, according to the police, they did not wish to separate at first, but they agreed to it because the officer said, if you don't do this, charges will be filed. So in lieu of no charges being filed, they agreed to sleep separately. And I see what the officer's like, she's got herself, she's in the van, she can take off. She doesn't need, but your fear is not thinking that, because you also are dealing with people like the family. Like, I know my ex's family, they went after me hardcore. I got shoved, spit in the face, things stolen, destroyed because they were pressuring me not to do these things. So it's probably not just Brian that we're having to work, Gabby would have to worry about. Because where we're it's just, I get a strong sense. It's not as simple. And if you are estranged from your own family, because I'll tell you right now, an abuser will do everything they can to estrange you and alienate you, you don't have any way out. So yeah, you're scared. So, now, a responding officer did deem Brian to be at low risk of danger or harm as a result of his proximity to his fiancée. So Brian was trying to say, she's the problem. And they're like, no. Now, I'm sure we all wish Gabby had taken this opportunity to run and get help and never go back. However, that didn't happen. This is why there needs to be such an awareness and support for abuse victims. Now, yes, Gabby had the van and Brian was lodging elsewhere. You see, apparently the van actually belongs to Gabby, not Brian. It wasn't theirs together. It was just hers. And that's something to keep in mind. Now, the last Instagram post Gabby ever made was on August 25th. There has been no other posts or phone calls to family and friends from her since then. Nothing. Now, September 1st, Brian arrives back to his home with Gabby. Well, the home he and Gabby shared in Florida with the van, but no Gabby. Brian is refusing to cooperate with the police or Gabby's family, and Brian's family is pretty much backing him on this, and will not say where she was left off, what happened, nothing. The van has been impounded and is being processed for evidence in Florida. Gabby's family is asking for help to find her. They're extremely upset that Brian and his family is refusing to explain why he had Gabby's van and Gabby wasn't with him. Was she left stranded somewhere? Is she alive? Where could she be? We don't know. And now this family. I will put links down below for where, if you have any real solid leads, to please contact. Now we're going to dive into the cards and see what we can discover. I might even do some pendulum work or charms. We'll see. Please remember that this is all alleged. And the tarot reading itself is for entertainment purposes only, okay? And I will see you on the flip side. Hello, and thank you for joining me for this tarot reading. I'm feeling really good. I meditate before I do something like this, and really it was it was refreshing to me, which I think I need right now. So we are going to look into what happened to Gabby. Brian I don't like the guy at all. I'll tell you that right now. I don't like people who abuse and take advantage of others at all. Nope. No bueno. And so, yeah, I can see why he's a person of interest, because he's the last person to have been with her, last person to have seen her. They were traveling together, and he shows up without her. This is going to be a little rough of a read, I think. But you know what? I'm ready to get down and do it. I'm using the Haunted House deck right now. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this deck. Okay. Okay. I expected to see that card. The Three of Cups reversed. Okay. Too many cards just fell out here, so we're going to do that again. This one just keeps wanting to come out. Okay. The Four of Pentacles. Huh. Greed. Oh, boy. Ace of Wands reversed. Okay. She's not in a good place, folks. She's been hidden away, buried. As I said here, she felt like she's to blame for everything that was going wrong. It's her fault. It was her fault with the finances, not having enough money. I think they expected their YouTube channel to just explode. I'm not sure if you familiar. I forget the name of another channel, which was about van life. And it just like, with the first couple days, she ended up with millions of subscribers. And I think they had that, especially Brian, had that expectation. I see that he was very controlling financially. He didn't let her even control her money. And I think that's another reason why she thought she couldn't be alone, because she didn't have access to the funds. That's pretty. Unfortunately, you see that a lot in controlling relationships. They were trying to get okay, so there's like an idea, trying to be creative, and he blamed her that it was failing. All right. Shoo. I believe that's the sun, and it's upside down. What is going on here with the sun? This is just, she's so broken. So broken, and so hurt. That's what I see, especially, and then, the Nine of Wands, wanting to get away, wanting to escape. Very overwhelmed. I'm thinking she's starting to get more, a little bit bolder with Brian at some point. Three of Pentacles. He's just taking the funds. She was like, we're supposed to be teamwork here to come up with ideas so that we can create and make money. And he was like, we don't have enough followers. We aren't getting, this isn't working out. I really think she was pregnant. As soon as I saw the Ace of Wands upside down, I went, I think there's a pregnancy involved. And folks, that is the Empress, and she is a figure of mother, nurturing child. I'm seeing this. Now this is making sense, some of her fears and her worries, because she was pregnant. And the worry of money. How are we going to support a baby? We're living in a van. We can't continue this. Oh boy, yeah. All our dreams of wealth being shattered. This was over expectations of what they thought was going to happen with their van life channel. And like I mentioned, I'm getting a sense that Brian thought his channel was going to be like that other, you know what? Let me see if I can look that up here. Give me a moment, folks. We're going to look this up because I want to know. The other person is just coming into mind, and I'm like, I gotta know. I get to know. Of course it doesn't bring her up. I can't figure out who she is. There's a lot of people doing videos about van life and what it's like to live in a van. Sheesh. She's got a snake. Alfredo, right? Janelle. Oh my gosh. Janelle. Her channel was like, 2 years ago, she launched it and it's already got like, it has like 11 million views. Oops. I think they were expecting that kind of energy and it wasn't happening. That was a lot of the fighting. Why are we stuck together on the road? Can't do this, can't do that. Whew, yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. It was, they were under a lot of pressure. And her pregnancy, now this is judgment. And it's, under this whole thing, under with the money, guilt. Well, I'm going to say the boyfriend Brian is guilty as fuck. And he's trying to avoid being called out, which we all know. I mean, the Six of Swords. Okay. I would have imagined the Five of Swords, but it's the Six. Huh. Yeah, this is over being a baby, resisting the change. No, I am not, he was like, I'm not ready to have a baby. I can't support this baby. She wanted to keep the baby. Yeah. Two lovers broke up. Bound woman. Okay. He was going to leave her, obviously, because, well, he didn't want, he was threatening for her to get rid, you can't have this baby, we can't do this. And she was scared. The Eight of Swords, that poor, she, that's being bound up and that just trapped, just really trapped. Just, I'm trying to sense. She was like a prisoner, feeling imprisoned by him. What is there? There's something about Brian that hasn't popped up. What is it? Come on. What, Gabby? What is it? Okay, that one came up in reverse this time. Interesting. Cool. Oh, I'm trying to get away. Did she try and hide, get away from him? At one point, I think he tracked her down. Or, no, what? She's wanting to protect herself, make a change, get away. And then the Nine of Wands. She's like, she wants to, okay, so she's wanting to break free, but she doesn't have the resources. She's afraid. She's very afraid. No. Yeah, Seven of Wands. No, oh God. Let's try this again. All these cards. My cards are not cooperating. Or they are. It's just... Okay. Okay, yeah. I see him is very greedy. He's trying to block her fresh start. This is Brian. And she gave up. As much as she wanted it, he's the blocker. She gave up. There's the lover's reverse. Turmoil in that relationship. It was bad. She was pregnant. This was her hope and dream that she gave up on. There's a trip. Okay. Okay, so that is the Page of Cups with Chariot and family. Now this is not... She's already losing trust in herself. I really think she tried to get away. Yeah. Social. That's social media community. This is Brian didn't plan whatever happened. It was badly. The church. Wait. Something about a church. Right? Everything fell apart. He lost control. They were arguing about finances and such. That's a divorce, which, you know, they were engaged, so she was really primed to leave him and be off with her child. Okay. Her journey pretty much ended. I'm going to pull out my favorite Lenderman deck here. Okay, let me get this out. I love this deck. It's always very, very insightful for me. It's always very, very helpful. Okay. Okay, let's try this card. Okay. Okay. This right here is the lady card. And it's the card 29, which is the lady. This is the person who we're talking about. And whatever happened to her is this here. This is a sudden end, sudden termination, sudden end. It could be her life, the relationship. That's the size. Oh, here's the mountain, 21. Okay, okay. I'm sensing something. I'm seeing something here. They were in the Grand Tetons in Wyoming. That was, that's the end there. It's got to be where some, the anchor 35. I just, she felt like she couldn't go any further with the mountain there. She couldn't go any further. This is all like everything is stopped. And the lilies represents family here, and it came to an end. So I'm seeing an end to a pregnancy, wanting to end the pregnancy. Oh, I hate that card. And it's over the mountain, which this is the whip, card 11, and this is abuse. This is punishing her. Remember when I said I felt that he was punishing her? That's what he was continuously doing. He yeah, it was ongoing abuse, and it was getting worse. Okay, the wishing well. A woman. Mm-hmm. So, the wishing well is next to her in this layout here. And it's actually a bridge. I know it looks like this card is the bridge, but it's a wishing well on it. It's connecting her and she is it was about the mountains. I'm gonna tell you, it's a mountain area, and she probably was like pushed off a cliff or something. He didn't. He's like saying, I don't mean to hurt you. He wanted to hurt the baby in her mainly. Got out of hand. You can't say those things to me. You can't leave me. But I'm not going to be responsible for this baby. Yeah. 8. That's a sarcophagus, folks. And so she is unfortunately dead. That's her. She's dead. I'm sorry, but there's like, maybe it was by a bridge or water. Yeah, 16. Somebody knows. Oh, okay. I'm getting this is a woman who knows what Brian did. Yeah. She knows. She probably has an idea. I think he was like her side person, you know. The cross is about suffering and sacrifice. It's above all these cards where she is showing where the death was, the stoppage. She was, unfortunately, I do believe it was Brian. All alleged, folks. I could be wrong, but I really get a strong sense of a pregnancy. And that was just yeah. All right. Yeah, that was a dark reading. Sorry. Um, I hope they resolve situations soon. Uh, yeah, I really do. And I realize I am really hungry. And I notice that it's lunchtime, so I probably should also get my kids something to eat. So, we're done here. I don't think there's any, I wasn't getting any more info. And so I just feel like this is as much as I'm going to get today. Um, Gosh, poor girl. My eyes, I don't know if you could tell, but they've been teared up a lot. I've been trying to keep. This guy didn't wear waterproof mascara. Oops. Okay. Please, share, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I love you guys. Please remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Please. We need to make this a better world again. We really do. I shouldn't say again because I don't know if the world's ever been better. There's been some dark history, folks. We just need to do better. We do. We need to be better people. I think there was someone I think the police and there's people who wish they had stepped up more and to try and protect Gabby. I see, sensing a lot of guilt. But there's only so much you can do if the person's not ready to leave. You can't force it. And they have to get to their own point to leave. Sometimes you get to that point and it's too late. And I was there myself. I'm so grateful to God, the Creator, and my God is for helping me, getting me well again, and saving my life. I know angels were all around protecting me. And and I got the courage to step out on my own. And it was scary as fuck. I will tell you that right now. Scariest thing. Yeah, so be kind to others, please. And also be kind to yourself, because if you aren't, you have nothing to give. If you're too hard on yourself, you have nothing to give. So remember, take care of yourself. All right, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.